Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I was talking to a beginner scrapper the other day about microwaves. He mentioned that he found a microwave on garbage day, picked it up, it was very light, so he assumed that all the insides were taken out of it, so he left it. He did say, however, that the cord for some reason was still on it, so he did take that cord but left the shell. And I ended up telling him that that type of microwave probably still had items inside of it. It probably had an inverter type of transformer, which are significantly lighter than your traditional transformers. So what I want to do today is discuss that, talk about different types of microwaves, the ones that are inverters, also kind of compare price difference between transformer microwaves as well as inverter ones, see if they are similar in scrap value or not. I did also mention to him, for me, regardless if the microwave has the cord cut off or the insides taken, I still take them because microwaves are 100% scrappable. I always use the inside as a holder for tin. The rest of the shell is also going to give me tin price. And currently right now going for about 8 to 10 cents a pound. So still better than nothing. I do have two microwaves here. This right here is a little bit smaller. Gonna move this one off to the side. This one does say inverter on it. And that is because these ones, unlike your traditional transformer style microwaves, have one of these inside. Again, that is an inverter. Beautiful aluminum on here, some nice copper spool. So I have not taken this one apart. I am in a minute. This one here is your traditional style that has the Magnetron, your transformer, as well as a little fan and some other spools of copper. And I do have full breakdown videos on these types of microwaves, and I will include the link to that video in my description. So if you're interested, go check that out. These ones are way more common than your inverters, and your transformers, even if they are aluminum, I do have some fellow scrappers that say they no longer pick up microwaves because they believe that the transformers are no longer made with copper. And that may be true with some of them, but if I am picking up on curbside, I cannot tell just from the look of it. It does all depend on when it's made, where it's made. Sometimes I've actually seen some models that look exactly the same. One can have a transformer that has copper windings, one is aluminum. And right now, actually in London, Ontario, aluminum transformers are actually worth 17 cents a pound. So this transformer right here weighs 10 pounds, so $1.70 for this. So I'm not even going to complain about aluminum transformers anymore, as well as the rest of this material. But I will, as mentioned, include the full breakdown weights of copper, aluminum, tin in this one. For this video, again, as I mentioned, going to focus on this one. As I said, I have already looked at the outside of this. As you can see, put a magnet to it, it does stick. I have removed the top panel, put a magnet to that. Again, you can see it does stick. So tin or shred price, 8 to 10 cents a pound. And I do want to take a second to talk about your tin, shred, or steel. I have had a lot of comments from viewers say that tin or shred, or sorry, tin or steel is actually a different type of makeup, and that is true. But when I refer to tin, shred, that is a classification at a scrapyard. So any type of your magnetic metal like this that is thinner than a 1/4 inch is going to be tin or shred. So all of your outer panels from appliances and electronics, very thin as mentioned, very easy to store up. I'm going to step on this, easy to pack it in my truck, get nice weight for this. Steel is more of your structural beams, any type of magnetic metal that is thicker than a 1/4 inch. So a lot of your trampoline poles and other types of support beams like that are steel. So wanted to clarify that. So a lot of tin, shred. As mentioned, this microwave is a little bit older, I can tell, I think, just from the discoloration. But just from looking at it, you cannot tell what type of transformer it has. I have already just looked here, taken the panel, and I will say, just from looking on the bottom, you can actually tell just from the bottom if it has a transformer or an inverter. So just to show you, bottom here, this one here has 4 screws right at the top. Those 4 screws are what are going to connect the transformer. This bottom here, you see, does not have 4 screws in a square. It does have 3 here, and that is an indication that it does not have a transformer. Those transformers, as said, can be 10 pounds. They do need to be securely fashioned in. So 4 screws, gonna give you your giveaway that it's a transformer. Here, gonna take this, unscrew these. As I said, this inverter has not been touched yet, so this is a full breakdown. And I will not probably remove all of the copper for this video, but I will include final breakdowns in my comment section just to compare different prices. This one is fully intact. It has the cord. I have seen some scrappers just actually drive by now, just taking the cord, which is a good price. It is going to be appliance wire, 40%, and currently that is going for $1.50 a pound. So really nice wire here that I want to get off. This one does also have it. So all of your microwaves, really nice appliance wire for sure. Okay, this one just going to take the connection off. Going to put some safety glasses on as well, and just going to actually remove the top, get as much of this cord as I can. I'm going to break it off. There you go. So there's a secure fasten here. Okay, nice little another circuit board, if you will, that's coming out. So again, nice appliance wire. Gonna look at this one here. A lot of people will strip it. A lot of people will look at brass prongs. I do take these brass prongs off. I will take and put them into brass. Currently right now, brass going for $3.15 a pound, which in our scrappers world, brass is our scrapper silver. So some people do leave them on the weight, but again, these prongs do add up. They're on all different appliances and electronics. I do have a nice bucket of them, and it is getting heavier by the day. So gonna make a lot more in my opinion, but if not, you can put this, as mentioned, in your 40% appliance wire because it has an outer coating and 3 inner coatings of copper wire. So more plastic, less copper recovery. But again, $1.50 a pound for this. There's gonna be almost a pound here. So great item for sure. As well, I should mention, this microwave does not have a capacitor in it. Your microwaves that have the transformers, before you do open them up and start taking out the components, you do have to make sure that the capacitor, you discharge it from any type of potential shock. And I do have, as mentioned in my video, the safety features for that. You do want to have a pair of rubberized handles. You do want to touch both connectors with that. And again, not all of them are going to store a charge, but you don't want to take that risk because it could be a nice heavy shock, if you will. And I don't want ever to make it my first time, so be careful of those. This one, as mentioned, does not have the capacitor in it, so I do not have to worry about that. But I do have right here tons of cord, nice little circuit board. These are little capacitors, but I don't have to worry about those. But you can see right there a nice spool of copper. That is what I refer to as a copper donut. This copper is actually going to be number 2 copper. It may be number 1. There is no real coating on this. I don't see any glue or anything. It is almost 16 gauge. It is borderline, so this actually might be number 2. But again, it could be number 1. Number 2 copper right now going for $4.30 a pound. So a lot of circuit boards have this. The rest of this wire here, this is going to be your higher value wire. This is going to be your 60% appliance wire because there's only 1 coating of plastic. And this right now going for $2.45 a pound in London, Ontario. So you do want to make sure you separate the metals, separate the wire, and do it as you're scrapping. It will save you a lot of time, but you want to make sure you upgrade. This one here, however, as you can see, it does have 2 wires in it that are coated. So this is part of your plug-in appliance outlet plug or power cord, sorry. So this does have to go into my 40%. So you do need to make sure you know what you have. The rest of this, you can see a nice couple brass prongs. I do rip these off. Watch this. Just grab it and I just do a little twist. So there you go. Does have right there that is all brass. So I've just taken it off the circuit board there. Give me a little bit more brass. I do have to remove a little bit of that wire, but it does all add up. And the rest of this circuit board, once I've taken off the copper and the wire, I'm gonna throw this right into my e-waste, get 5 cents a pound for this, so 0 waste there, and it is all gonna be recycled. These capacitors, as mentioned, there is a little bit of value when they are on the scrapyard or when they are on the circuit board. If I take them off of there, there is no separate category for these ones. There are other types of capacitors that you will see in here that are the magnetic ones or the metallic looking ones, sorry. You get about 3 cents a pound for those, but this one, as mentioned, does not have it. Okay, so there's a little bit of copper. I do have right here a number of different spots that I have to remove screws from. Okay, so there is my Magnetron. I have beautiful copper core in here. You do have to be careful about Magnetrons, and I do have a separate video on the dangers of these, how to handle them properly. So I will also include the link to that in my description. But Magnetrons have a beautiful copper core inside of them, some really nice copper wire in the top of them, as well as some aluminum fins. But they also do potentially have beryllium on the rings. So just gonna quickly last screw, pull this out to show you. Okay, and microwaves are one of the easiest things to take apart. And in my opinion, very therapeutic to do so. But here we go, just gonna pull out some of these plastic pins. Pull out this Magnetron, there it is. Okay, gonna cut the wire here just to show you. Okay, here we go. So this Magnetron here, it is safe to touch right now because I have not disturbed this pink ribbon here. There is some brass you can see on there. As mentioned as well, once I hold it up, there are a core inside, 2 very powerful magnets. I've actually used those for magnet fishing before. I use them at school to put up my chart paper. Very strong. You can actually also sell them online. People will buy these, and they are very nice condition. They are free of any type of debris. So that is another option for sure. But these, I can touch this as mentioned because this beryllium has not been disturbed. But if I start breaking that open and that beryllium gets crushed or it gets damaged, you can get what they call berylliosis, which is a very nasty thing that attacks the lungs. So you got to be careful with these, but a nice piece of scrap. And as mentioned, I will include the safety video to that in my my comments or my link in the description. So check that out. But beautiful Magnetron here. Looking more further into this, just gonna pull it out some of this plastic. A little bit of garbage there, but I can throw this right into my recycling. There is my inverter. Look at that. So here we go. Just gonna start cutting. Lots of wire in here that comes around it. But there is my inverter. Look at that beautiful copper here. There are actually 2 sides of copper. This copper is all gonna be number 2 copper. So scratching that, because these are all individual strands, they are all thinner than 16 gauge. But there is gonna be a nice load of copper there. This, again, I am gonna throw this spool here into my number 1. Number 1 copper are worth a little bit more than number 2. I think it's $4.50 a pound. There is a beautiful, right here, aluminum heat sink. This right here, I'm gonna throw this actually into what we classify as extrusion. Extrusion is your highest paid type of aluminum. Any type of aluminum that looks like it's been put through a mold or a press. So this right now going for 98 cents a pound. There are a couple chips on here, this board, if you are into micro scrapping. So there, right there is an IC chip. These connectors here on the heat sink there, those are actually worth taking off as well. They're just connected with a screw, and they are connected to the circuit board. But those also contain copper in them as well. Often talk about those connected to heat sinks. There is copper. Some people actually say that there is number or precious metals inside of it. So I actually just store them up, but this is one of them up close. Sometimes they are full plastic cover. Sometimes they do have the metallic look, and sometimes they actually have the copper look on side. So just gonna quickly show you, scratch this just to verify. But look at that, put that up to the light. There you go. So that is copper that you see. So that is would be number 2 copper. But again, I am holding on to these because I have heard that there may be precious metals inside of this. If not, you are gonna get number 2 copper price for this, which is better than leaving it on your circuit board. And as you can see here, I do have a lot of micro scrapping that I do. Relay boxes, different MLCCs, different ceramic capacitors in here that you see, and these all come off of different circuit boards. So I do also have a video on micro scrapping. Lots of gold comes off of circuit boards, not from these microwaves, but there are different items that you can find on circuit boards, so I will also include the link to that video. But that is the reason why this microwave was a lot lighter than your traditional transformer microwave. This does not weigh a lot, but it does still contain some really nice copper inside. As well, it does have on the side here, this is ferrite. There is a market for that at the scrapyard. I don't take that off and put it into ferrite because I don't have much of it. I will actually just throw this right into my tin and get the tin price at 10 cents a pound. This also does have a small little right there, where's my finger? Right there, sorry, spool of copper on that, right there, on that little transformer there. So lots of nice copper on here. So I am interested to see how much I have. I do also have an upcoming experiment. These do have the brass prongs inside that plastic. So I am looking if this is worth more, taking the plastic off and getting the brass price for prongs, or just bringing it in like this. You can get 19 cents a pound for plug ends that have coating on it. So stay tuned to that. I am doing a huge experiment. I do have a nice big bag saved up, so I am interested, but I do remove the plastic. Again, not sure if it's gonna pay off, but stay tuned. There is also right here a nice fan. This fan is gonna have some really nice copper as well. So just wanna get these little wires mentioned. I am gonna take them all, but this fan has a nice spool of copper. That again, number 2 copper, regardless of how shiny it is, because it is thinner than 16 gauge, it is gonna be number 2. There is also right here a little bit of copper. I pull this copper off of this motor on both sides. You see it right there on the bottom. These are very easy to take apart. Just gonna actually pull the fan off, the fins. There's a little bit of plastic on that you can see, but this, I do have to unscrew that. There is a little bit of aluminum here actually, and that's something that I do take off as well. Even though if I put a magnet to this piece here, there is gonna be some magnetic attraction, and that's just because you can see that little fin or tooth right there, and on that side is holding the metallic. So once I remove the screws off of here and I take this top off, all I'm gonna do is actually uncrimp that, and this whole piece here is gonna be clean aluminum. So this right here, about 45 cents a pound. There's definitely not 40 or a pound here, but it all does add up. And again, 45 cents a pound for aluminum. Want to maximize my profit. The rest of this shell, gonna go into tin. This right here, this casing is actually zinc cast. So this top right here is gonna be 45 cents a pound as well. You do wanna make sure you separate that. I have had some people ask me the difference between zinc cast and cast aluminum. Zinc cast, if you were to turn it over and look at it in the sunlight, it almost looks like a rainbow effect. Someone has taken a drop of oil and put it into a water puddle. So zinc cast, again, 45 cents a pound. All of your casings for motors, for example, are zinc cast. And as well on these little guys, there is another part to it too. So really nice motor here. Again, some more copper spool. Gonna take that. A lot of little connectors. Gonna get this connector out here. It's just held in by a little fin. When we talk a little bit more about precious metals and maximizing profit, you will find several of these little guys. These do actually have a little bit of silver inside of them. If I was to uncrimp that top, there's going to be a few little metallic looking dots, and that is actually copper. That is actually a little dot of silver. Sometimes the connectors will be copper, sometimes they'll be brass, but the little smudge on that silver dot is going to be silver. So again, these are another thing I collect, like my relay boxes. The outer shell, this one is tin, but make sure you get there's usually about 2 or 3 of these in there. Okay. The light bulb, I also will remove the light bulb. I will take part of it. These light bulbs do have some nice brass connectors. Just going to put it up to the camera again. I do unscrew this light bulb. Sometimes they will work, but I won't open this. I will recycle it. But look inside of that. That does have an aluminum case. Sometimes it's brass. Actually, this may be brass. I do have to scratch it. It does look yellow, but I can't be fooled. I do have to do the scratch test. But inside, going to be some copper connectors. On the other side, some more brass. So any type of lamps, light bulbs like this, I do crack that case open and get that clean item. As mentioned, it could be brass, could be a clean aluminum, but there's always connectors as well that are usually brass and very easy to take off. Okay, the light bulb, dirty, shaking it, it does not work. I can hear it, so I am going to recycle this properly, but that is another item. Last couple on the door, there is right here another little type of control panel, okay, that I want to look at. There inside, these are relay boxes right here that you see. All of your microwaves will have these. Sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 of them. Once you break that open, these 2 will have that little metallic looking dot that contains silver. The prongs could be copper, so you do want to open those as well. Any type of your clicky noise that you hear there. And I do have a very popular video that I've put up, lots of views on that, places you can find free silver, and this is a great place to do it. So silver is an excellent item that we have, obviously precious metal, and continues to go up in price. So not bad getting free silver in tons of different places. So that video too, I will put in my link, but always your doors have them. And both doors will have them regardless of the type of microwave. Okay. The control panel that you see here on the door, these do have a nice circuit board. Just going to speed up the process. Going to hit this with a hammer. Okay. There it is. He's going to have a tin shell. Inside of this one, you can see right there, really nice transformer. There is another relay box right there, a nice big relay box that has the silver inside. Going to be some IC chips on here. You can also see right here some really nice, what we classify ticker tape. If I was to take a knife and just peel up this panel, which I'm going to do, there is going to be a silver mallard board. So just going to do that for you right now, show you all of your boards have it. But look at that right there. That is a silver mallard board. Okay, and that does contain silver. So I have a nice big bag of these stored up. Your keyboards have them as well. But look at that. All of those little spots you see, grooves and different zigzag patterns, is a little bit of silver. So I have them in a bag. It doesn't weigh much, but I have looked online, different places like boardsort.com will buy these by the poundage. I do want to make sure, because I'm in Canada, boardsort.com is in the USA, I have to make sure that I can somehow maximize my shipping costs and get the most out of it. There are other places as well online, and some people do refine them themselves. So a little bit of research for sure, but again, some more free silver. And once I remove this circuit board, this entire door, because it has a metal casing on it, going to be some more tin. And as you can see here, there's my storage space. Okay, last thing I want to look at, right on the bottom here, there is always a type of little motor that you have, a circular motor. This is the motor that will spin your plate. Some people do forget about this. I'm going to try and get to this. There are a couple little pins that are holding it down. There we go. Easier. Sometimes a hammer is the best tool in your scrapping arsenal. Okay, but you want to just bring up this plate. Okay, there it is. Okay, it is held in with a couple screws. Okay, but again, very easy to access, very easy to overlook. And the wires to this will go all the way down the neck of it. But there it is right here. This is also going to hold a spool of number 2 copper. The rest of this shell is going to be tin. The prongs there, look at that connector prong, that is copper. So I throw that into my number 1 copper. So 2 of those. So you definitely want to take those off. A little bit of plastic in here, but you don't want to forget about this motor. So the rest of this shell, going to be tin shred. Going to get a good amount here for sure. But that again is the reason why this microwave, inverter microwave, is lighter. It does have my circuit board like this, not the traditional transformer. This one, as mentioned, this I'm already can tell does have a aluminum transformer. I have scratched it already, but no matter, gonna get $1.70 for it anyway. So still better than nothing. I was actually in my previous videos just throwing it into tin because I was only getting about 8 cents for these. But now that the price of these have gone up, gonna make sure I separate them, maximize my profit. So you do wanna know prices for sure. Look around. Some scrap yards will not give you 17 cents a pound for these. Some will. So again, that's where shopping around is good. Holding on to certain things, looking where to go, as well as calling different places. If you have a bulk amount of an item, you can contact scrap yards and do a little bit of negotiation because they want to buy your product. But you do want to make sure with all transformers you scratch them because as you can see with this one, that one right there, that is copper. So this is going to be worth opening because that is number 2 copper. Again, going to get a lot more for that copper value than bringing in this transformer. There are different categories of transformers at the scrap yards. They do have some that are copper, some that are copper aluminum, and again, aluminum. So do check for sure, but that is the difference. Even though this one is a lot smaller than this one, I think the heavy transformer is going to make up for the weight or offset the difference in copper recovery for sure, as well as weight of these items. So stay tuned. Again, gonna put on the comment section the final breakdown, how much money I got comparing the two. Are the inverters worth more than copper transformers? And I will also include in my comparison, even though this one is aluminum, I will put price of a transformer that is 1 copper, 1 aluminum, or one that is just copper. So again, hopefully that answered those. To that beginner scrapper, I get it. That is tricks of the trade. Sometimes it's from learning. Never assume anything. But getting that power cord for sure was a good thing. But I would say with all microwaves, grab them because they are 100% scrappable. You don't know the type of transformer inside of it. And they are, as mentioned, 100% scrappable. One of your most common items you can find. Very easy to take apart as well. So be careful. Make sure you do discharge the capacitor in your traditional ones before you go ahead and move this for safety reasons. But hopefully that answered those questions. So hope you enjoyed that. Please continue with your questions and comments. I love working with the scrapping community, trying to help out fellow scrappers, make a difference not only monetarily for them, but also in our environment. Again, thank you for all your support and well wishes. Please stay tuned. Thank you again for watching. Comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.